What's up, everybody? Recently, I did a stream of the most recent Steam Next Fest, and so I wanted to make a quick video and let you guys know what I encountered that I thought was really good and that got added to my wish list, or what got updated that I previously had on my wish list. So pretty short list, pretty short video, but I want to let you guys know what actually excited me during Steam Next Fest. So the first game up is the Iron Oath. During my stream, I talked about the Iron Oath. This is one I've had on my wish list for a long time. I played a demo of it, I think about a year ago, but with the most recent Steam Next Fest, they updated their demo and provided us with something a little bit new. Now, this game is a turn-based tactical RPG. You play on essentially a hex grid here, and you've got your party members versus the enemies. You kind of play through this game, being able to move and do an action like you can in most tactical strategy games. Your various actions have different charges, but as you get further into the game, you unlock more and more features. They kind of start you out in a dungeon, and you got to go through a couple of fights, but you eventually make your way to this open world map where you can travel from city to city. They have some pretty unique mechanics in terms of exploring the dungeons. You kind of explore through these different blocks, and each block or tile here can have different things. You may fight a battle, you may find a treasure chest, etc. Everything takes time, so there's some time management in there. The visual effects are really good. There's the overmap with all the different cities. The different cities, they all have reputations that you can earn and grow over time. You've got places to rest and heal up your injuries. You've got things that you can buy. The more I got into this, the more I saw like the depth that they're putting into this game. And I think if you're a fan of the pixel art style and the turn-based tactical RPG kind of combat, you're really going to enjoy this. There's just a lot that's going on here. Your characters level up. They get to put different points into skills. As you can see here, this skill actually has its own tree where you can invest upgrade points to change the way that it works or to improve it. There's just a lot going on here. I was a big enough fan of the original demo that I played to wishlist the game in the first place, and going through and playing the demo actually just made me want to play it more. The demo's still up, it's still available, you can definitely check it out. I literally had to stop myself from playing because I found myself just kind of like drawn in and engrossed and just kind of like really getting into it, and I was like, wait, it's just a demo. So the release date for this is planned for spring 2022, so it's coming up here pretty soon. But check out the demo if you want, see how you like it. Now, there's two new games that I played that I never played before that I tried out during Steam Next Fest that made this list. So the first one, and arguably like the more simple one, is Forward Escape the Fold. So I talked about this one. I thought that it looked pretty good. The concept of this game is pretty straightforward. So you have a hero character, and you're going to play through these sort of like dungeons or levels where you fight against these rows of cards. And essentially what you can do is you move your hero on top of a card and you get the effect of the card. So if it's a healing potion, you heal. If it's a shield, you get some armor. If it's a sword, you kind of attack all the monsters you can see. If you drop on top of a monster, then it's their number versus your number, and you take damage and kill them off, and usually you get some sort of reward. As you progress up through the different rows, which cards you can jump on top of or put your character on top of depends on your placement. So if this character went to the healing potion, he couldn't jump to the sword. He could only jump to this monster or this monster. So there's some strategy in kind of figuring out the path you want to take up the group of cards, and really it just comes down to surviving for as long as possible. It's very much more about managing your health, smartly using the items that are laid out in the rows, collecting enough coins and things to upgrade your hero as you go, and just in general, it's a fairly simple, easy to pick up game, but I found that it had a fair amount of depth. I felt as I was playing that, like, yeah, there's strategy. I could see how it would get incredibly difficult. But one of the big features for me here is there are so many different characters that you can play as already. We've got 7 characters on the screen here, and you can see it looks like there's more over there. And in addition to that, there's variability because your characters get to pick a power. I just see this as a game that's easy to pick up, it's easy to grasp, it's easy to play, but it is going to have a lot of replay value just because of the combination of the characters and the spells and just the random layout of what you actually encounter. It just was really good. I felt like it was a really well thought out, polished game that would be easy to pick up and enjoy. So I added it to my list. I'm definitely looking forward to it. It's coming out March 29th, so we got it at the end of the month here, and I'm actually really excited to play it. So the final game here is Writer's Block. So Writer's Block, there is no demo for Forward Escape the Fold. I forgot to mention that. They took the demo down after Next Fest, but it's coming out pretty soon, and I don't imagine it'll be that expensive. Okay, so Writer's Block. The demo for this one is still up. Now, this is one that I looked at, and at first I was kind of like, this looks a little goofy, but then I saw what they were doing with the concept, and I was like, this looks really cool, and it was. I really, really enjoyed this game. So this is a... it's a roguelike strategy RPG, kind of like you would think of like Slay the Spire or Monster Train or something like that, except it has nothing to do with cards. It has everything to do with spelling. It's so interesting and weird and unique, and I just found it to be a lot of fun. So in the game you play as one of these characters. There are multiple characters. You could only play as this Pin, I think, in the demo, and you have your health bar, and you're going up against these various different enemies, and each enemy has its own health as well. So the way that you do combat in this game is you actually type out words from the typewriter. So there'll be a random letters in here, and you try to make words based on what's available in the typewriter. The bigger your word is, the more damage you do. So Rogue would do 5 damage to whichever enemy you're targeting. Right? So that seems fairly straightforward, which that's already a kind of a cool concept. The bigger a word you can come up with, the more damage you can deal to the enemy. I like that a lot. But they actually take it several steps further to make it more interesting. So first off, each enemy has various things that they do to the keys on the typewriter. So for example, this guy has fire. So any of the keys that's fire, if you do not use them, they will deal 1 damage to you, and they will ashen surrounding tiles, which ashen causes the tiles to actually reduce the power of your word by 1. So if one of these letters was ashen, it would actually take a point away from the power. So instead of hitting for 6, you'd be hitting for 5. So there's a special effect there. If we look at this one, poison, if you don't use that tile or that letter, every turn that it's there, you'd take 1 damage. You'd get poisoned and take 1 damage. Okay, so there's quite a few little interesting things that they do here. For example, this one here, if you don't use the E, you're just going to take 1 damage. You get attacked. So they do a lot of interesting things with the enemies to kind of force you to not just go for the biggest word you can find, but to try to use as many of these dangerous letters that they put on the typewriter as possible. On top of that, you have a lot of the typical sort of turn-based roguelike features in here as well. You have consumable items that you can use. For example, you can use the eraser to get rid of enemy effects on the board. I don't know if they'll show it, but there's a dictionary you can get, and the dictionary will automatically give you the longest word you could possibly make with the letters currently available. So you do have some consumables you can use. You've got gold that you earn that you can spend on consumables, or you can spend them on these sort of relic items that do different things depending on what they are. So, some of them might make it so that every other round you get a couple of letters that will deal bonus damage if you use them. So there's a lot of interesting stuff going on there. And you progress through the levels just like you would Slay the Spire or any other kind of sort of level-based, turn-based roguelike. You know, so you have your battles, you have your elite battles, you have your treasure chest, your shops, your places where you can upgrade your relics. You've got the, you know, here's the brain store where you can purchase, you know, consumables or other relic items. And like all in all, like the game's just super cool. Like I really, really like it. I think it's so cool that they incorporate spelling and building these words out, because a lot of times when you play games like this, like what you're able to do, it comes down to the decisions that you've made over the course of the run. So maybe you didn't get a great build, or maybe you got a fantastic build. Now everything is overpowered or whatever, but like everything that's done is presented to you from the perspective of like, I made these choices that the developer put in front of me. And in this game, it's more like it's up to you. Like there's multiple ways to deal damage, and like you could pop in here and go, okay, I'm gonna make the word net, and that's 3 points. But if you are able to come up with design, that's 6 points of damage, you know. So a lot of the onus is on you to expand your vocabulary and to use the things on the typewriter creatively to make sure that you're minimizing damage, and that extra layer of just trying to use the letters that are going to cause bad effects if you don't use them, or the ones that are going to cause good effects if you do use them. You know, it just adds that extra layer. It's challenging. I feel like it's very mentally stimulating. So this game was fantastic. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. It's due out August 22nd. Each of the different characters that they're going to be introducing is going to have their own abilities and powers. You could see like there's possibly 3, maybe 2 characters right here that they're showing off. There's like a pencil, and I don't know what she is, a crayon. I'm not sure. But there's going to be, you know, more characters with more powers, and like I just really enjoyed the demo. You get to play through one chapter. Essentially, you get to play through one of these, and that's it. And I just was like, that was not enough. That was not enough. So, yeah, I absolutely great game. So anyway, you guys, that's the video. A little bit longer than I thought it would be, because I absolutely wanted to rant about Writer's Block here at the end. But all these games, I think, are great. They're worth checking out. They're worth putting on your wish list. 2 of them have demos, so if you want to, go check them out. I hope you enjoyed the video, and let me know if you guys want to see more videos like this, where I just kind of talk about some of these games that I'm newly discovering for you guys without it being like a 15 game list. And if you like them, we'll keep doing them, because I definitely enjoy talking about video games. So thanks everybody. Appreciate you watching. Hope you enjoy it. Thanks for checking out videos here on the channel. Have a nice day. I'll catch you on the next video.